The results came back that her blood, she had an STD. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Matters of Fatherhood. This would be my introduction video to this channel. This is a work that I am really passionate about. And Matters of Fatherhood is a space dedicated to fathers who want to support their wives, lead their families, and raise their children while living a God fearing life. Here, we talk about everything from advocating for our wives in the hospitals during labor and delivery, navigating the challenges of postpartum, and embracing the joys and trials of fatherhood. Join me and explore the sacred calling of being a father, rooted in faith, love, and strength, as we seek to build a strong, Christ centered families. So, thank you for joining me. That is basically my mission statement for this channel. I started this on TikTok 2 years ago, and it has ballooned into something that I never saw coming. And I'm only beginning this. I'm figuring this stuff out as I go. But the reason why I started this is because in 2020, in May 2020, me and my wife had our second child. During that pregnancy, it was so tumultuous. I was a corrections officer at the time, and I got hurt at work because I was basically set up on the job to take the fall for something completely idiotic. Long story short, 7 inmates were trying to beat up an inmate, and I got in the middle of it. I was abandoned by my coworker at the time, and I left with a high right ankle sprain, and I was off the job for a couple of months. And it was conveniently around the time my wife was set to have our second baby. At that time, the vaccines were mandated or you were losing your job. So a lot of people lost their job at the hospitals, which in turn caused there to be a shortage in staff. Shortage in staff caused a bad blood test for my wife, and they switched her vials with someone else's vials. The results came back that in her blood she had an STD. When she didn't, they switched her blood with somebody else. By the time that the hospital found out that they messed up, it was about a couple weeks to delivery day. Even though they realized that they messed up, they almost tore my family apart, they still wanted to proceed with giving her a C-section when there was no need for a C-section because she didn't have a STD. They messed up. So during that whole ordeal, I was going back and forth for about 3 or 4 hours with the head nurse that day, and I had to advocate for my wife. DNR papers were thrown, word curses were thrown, um, saying that my wife is going to die, saying my baby's going to die, all out spiritual warfare, all out. That day I grew up. I became a man because I had to fight for my family. Thank God, our baby made it out, my wife made it out, and we are here today. And after that ordeal, my wife went through severe postpartum depression, and I had to help her navigate that too. And then I went through paternal depression. So, with all these things that happened around 2023, I started making videos about, what we were going through at the time, just our life. And it blossomed into this community that had me like, wow, a lot of people need to hear about this. A lot of men don't know what postpartum depression is. A lot of men don't know that their wives or the mothers of their children, the hormones in their bodies are raging. They don't know that life is just not the same. She's just not the same woman anymore. So I said, you know what? I gotta do something about this. Nobody's talking about this, and I feel there's a need for it. I feel there's a need for this conversation, so I'm gonna start it. Um, I don't know if there's any other male creators that are doing this type of content, focusing on postpartum, focusing on advocacy in the labor and delivery room, because that's that part of the conversation. Men tend to fall out of that and say, okay, That's enough of y'all. Y'all, the baby's here. Y'all just support and shut up. And I'm saying, nah, we can't shut up. Uh, the men need to learn about this as much as the women do. We got to know what vitamin D is for. We got to know why sleep deprivation is detrimental. We got to know the difference between postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression, and postpartum psychosis. We got to know these things if we want our families to thrive. I'll be talking about that. I'll be talking about different ways to advocate for our wives in the labor and delivery room. I'll be talking about different milestones that I've reached as a father and share some of the wisdom that I've learned about fatherhood on this page too. Eventually, I want to interview people that interview women that have been through postpartum depression that made it through, interview men that have been through paternal depression, interview new parents, interview new fathers, and create a community where we could come together as fathers and talk about everything encompassing fatherhood. The foundation of this, the foundation of all this is Jesus Christ. I am a professed Christian. I believe that we are saved by grace through faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, uh, not of works, should any man boast. And I think that because the Lord is so good, He has given me this opportunity to create a platform to talk about these things. So, thank you for listening. If you have any suggestions on things that you would like to hear from me, if you have anything that you would like to know about me, you can contact me at mattersoffatherhood at yahoo.com. I'm excited for this ride. I'm excited for this new chapter in what I am doing. I pray that the Lord blesses it, and I hope to do this for a long time. I don't know if a year from now I'll still be talking about postpartum. I don't know if a year from now I'll still be talking about labor and delivery. But I know it's a conversation that I feel like the male community, the male space should be talking about. Grab your popcorn. I'm new to this YouTube thing on this type of level, and let's have this dialogue. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video. God bless.